to the next coming generation. Like, I want to be able to go to sleep at night one day and wake up and, sit back and just revel at the 19, 20-year-old Rod Digger doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to hog the lane. Like, I don't want to be 60 like, oh, you young whippersnappers don't know doing move. Like, I actually want to retire.
Do you have any advice for those young up-and-coming artists? Because you're considered one of the most well-respected for both genders.
Oh, yeah, easily. Both genders.
Right? Absolutely. Like one of the most dominant artists in the game for both genders. And I'm not making that up. That's like you've been coined that. So I'm curious if you have any advice for those artists that are looking to kind of maybe fill, not necessarily take over, but fill that lane when you step aside and say, let's see what you got. Do you have any advice for them?
What I like to tell everybody is just keep your pen game sharp, man. Like, there's always, there's fads, there's trends, there's waves that are constantly gonna come and go, and you don't want to spend your career chasing waves. Like, you want to create them. There's always going to be a lane for lyricism. Like, lyricism is something that will never get played out. So when it's all said and done, if you don't got the same amount of money, you don't look the same, you didn't gain weight, like whatever's going on with you personally, you don't have that team with you anymore. Like, as long as your pen game is tight, like, you'll always be able to create a market and a lane for yourself. Like, you'll always have that. You'll always be able to gather a following, because there's always a demand for lyricism. There isn't always a demand for crunk. There isn't always a demand for boom bap. There isn't but there's always a demand for, and actually there is always a demand for boom bap. But I say that to say, as long as you can rhyme, you'll be able to fit in whatever time period, whatever generation, whatever lane.
Hey man, that's I'm glad you said that, because that's real talk. And me, being pretty much the same age as hip hop and all that, like I grew up on that part is the lyrics. Like, that was something that I always looked to for artists. Those were the ones I went and purchased with my allowance money on Tuesdays when the records used to come out. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad you said that. Hey, real quick, I know we're on limited time, but I wanted to ask about the role, because I've been following you for a minute, obviously, with the music since way back. But you gave a lot of props to Q-Tip on the path that your career is taking. I just wanted you to talk about that real quick, because I thought that was real dope.
Well, a lot of people don't realize Q-Tip was the one that signed me. Like, even before I became Flip Mode and signed to Busta Rhymes, I was signed to Q-Tip first. Q-Tip was the one. I signed to Q-Tip, and through Q-Tip, I got my deal up at Elektra Records. So I was his artist for a couple of years, but then unbeknownst to me, like, now that all of the history is out there, I didn't realize at the time that Tribe Called Quest was in the process of breaking up. Like, I was literally, in the middle of that, and I was just this young, hungry artist from Jersey dying to get my record out. So while he's going through whatever he's going through, I'm probably bugging him every hour and hour, like, when am I to the studio? Send me the beat. When are you coming out? So at some point, he put a bug in Busta Rhymes' ear, like, yo, I've got this sick female MC. She is driving me up a wall. Like, I think she would be a great fit for Flip Mode. And what was interesting too is that I didn't realize this was something that I had to learn about my artistry. You know how you can love someone like Tribe Called Quest, arguably my favorite group of all time. One of Q-Tip, arguably one of my favorite producers of all time. Like, that was my dream to work with him. But when I would do the stuff, or when I would get beats, I always felt like they weren't aggressive enough, or they didn't match my energy. And I thought something was wrong with me. Like I couldn't figure out for the life of me, like why, why my favorite producer, like why I can't make a good record with, with my favorite producer. And it took me a minute to learn that, sometimes what works for somebody else doesn't always work for you. And it's like, I've got this harsh, aggressive, high energy, conviction when I rhyme, and it didn't always gel with Q-Tip's jazzy melodic stuff. And I couldn't figure out what that was until later on. Like, you know what? Maybe, maybe that isn't, the best vibe for me. But then once I started working with a Knox and other people, it's like, okay, they have, the production that matches my energy, but it's something that I had to figure out, about my artistry in time.
So dope to hear those stories, because we just heard all the music. We don't know always what goes on behind the scenes, and that's dope to hear.
Would you find yourself trying to conform to the beat, or would you find yourself sending the beat back and saying, I need more 808. I don't know. It's not.
I tell producers in a heartbeat, no matter who you are, like, no, I need you to thug this out.
Hey, that's right.
I do it to Primo. It don't matter who you are. You know what's the first, before I got Lessons of Today, what the first beat that Primo presented to me? Common. Yes, you know.
Oh, wow.
That was my beat first.
Hey, see?
And you were like,
gems right here.
That was my beat first. I mean, now listening to what Common and Bilal did to it, you're like, God damn, she turned that down. But when I first got it, I thought it was too pretty. I thought it was too pretty. I'm like, no, I need something a little more like, hardcore. And then I got Lessons of Today.
And I think that's what translated. I mean, at least I know I can speak for the, on this side, like what translated to the fan base you have is because, I mean, you stuck to who you are. You knew who you were as an MC, and for that, to hear that story is dope. Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that rough, rugged stuff is what we like to hear over here. So we were like, man, and a female spitting this too. And like she said, it don't matter. You spit harder than it. Like most people, it don't matter what genre. So
what gender?
Yeah, what gender? Yeah. Gender. My bad.
Gender, genre. But speaking of genres, though, getting into the acting side, you're kind of acting when you're on stage, anyways. I know it's a part of your persona, but in terms of being on the silver screen, was that uncomfortable or different in any way? Feeling out of your element? How did you transition into that?
Well, Buster used to always say to me, like, I think you would be dope acting. You should go out for some roles. But it wasn't really a passion of mine. It wasn't anything that I was pursuing. But a few people would just say to me, often, like, you should think about doing a role. Like, you're really funny. Like, you have great personality. You should think about doing films. And I was like, you know what? Why not? I'll go for it. I took a shot. I came out to LA and I auditioned for Baby Boy, and I didn't get Baby Boy, but I ended up getting 13 Goats, and I improvised through the reading of 13 Goats because that was like an impromptu reading. That was something that my agent had called, like, yo, if you got time before you go to the airport, I got one more audition. Could you squeeze in? And I was so hungover, like I wasn't prepared for it or anything. I just kind of showed up, burping alcohol, like, okay, wake me up, we get there, okay, we're here, snap, all right. And I went in and I'm trying to read the signs, and when I tell you, the words were literally like moving off the paper.
Oh, wow.
I ended up like pulling it up, like, no, this is giving me a headache. We're just gonna wing this. And the director saw all of this transpiring on camera and loved it. He's like, no, that's our girl, that's our lady, right?
That's what we're looking for.
That's amazing how that works out.
And ever since, and then right from there, I did the hip opera Carmen.
And that was hard. That was hard.
And I tried, I did try to go out for rules. Like I tried the whole, I tried the improvised readings a couple times. They're like, no, sis. They got you that first rule. Now you gotta study.
Oh,
So
there you go.
I started working with I did start working with an acting coach, Susan Batson, phenomenal coach, and but I did not get any more roles. Like,
no, those are coming.
At some point, we started working on the second Flipmode album that actually never came out. So I ended up going back to, I got a little discouraged after a couple of roles and was like, man, I'm gonna take my ass back to music because now I'm spoiled and I'm trying to compete with the big dogs and I'm losing roles to like Taraji and Regina King and Kerry Washington. I'm like, oh, okay, so
Hey,
now,
losing roles to them is that
that's with big leagues. I'm like, okay, and on that note, I'm gonna take my ass back to New York. Y'all gonna get these scars later for this damn album. But no, I'm still very much into it. I'm even more so exploring behind the scenes. I have a couple of ideas that I'm trying to bring to life right now that are in development. I'm in the process of selecting screenwriters. I have an Egyptian culture series that I'm trying to produce, as well as another hip opera, a new age hip opera with some of the new talent that's out now, and also a horror flick. So I got a couple.
Ooh, that
I can't
sounds
wait for that.
great. Yes.
Hey, and on a just real quick note, that joint you guys did with the squad and Mariah, like I think every female I've ever cruised in their car knows your whole verse. Like they make sure they spit that verse with that song.
I think Busta just released. Well, I know there's a part 2 on the album, but I did see something on social media just a minute ago that it's like the 18-year anniversary of that record. So it's crazy how time flies.
It really flies.
Yeah.
And you look amazing. It doesn't even seem like it's been 18 years. Time is going backwards for you.
Yeah, right.
Not sure what your secrets are.
See, you're doing it well, man. I just pretend. I just still walk around here like I'm.
He's as old as hip hop.
Yeah,
He's
right.
wobbling around. He's all cracking.
I just walk around like I'm still live as shit, and then I hurt my hip. Hey, but hey, real quick though, she's coming, man. April 10th. DJ House Shoes, The Visionaries, Rod Digga, Red Maddox gonna be there.
Hosted by Pause One.
Yeah, April 10th, right? 720 East Arrow Highway in Covina, right down the street, 1 to 5 p.m. That's dope. You'll probably see most of us that are here in the building that night. So
yeah, we'll be there. You got a full house tonight. Everyone's here to support. We are so glad that you made it tonight.
2021.
Yeah. I almost forgot we had a 2020. I want to just erase that one.
I know I almost said 2020. I'm like,
This one.
Right?
We are going to get into the video, that feature. It's called Wear the Hood. It's our friends in Michigan, the Fist Coalition. But we just wanted to thank you one more time. Before we get into that video, you flew down there to shoot that, right?
Yes, I did. Those are my guys. And I did a show out there. That show was off the chain.
Yeah, you bodied that. And you looked like you were in your element. Was that their actual neighborhood, or did you guys just choose a location randomly?
I believe so. I believe one of the artists that I think that was like one of their relatives' house or something like that. But no, it's so funny. I got a funny story about that trip. So, whenever I go to different towns, I always want to see the hood, right? I always want to go to like the most underlaying, hole-in-the-wall, good food spot. And so we're rolling through the neighborhood, and we get to one particular neighborhood. I think one of them like going to their cousin's house or something, and we're driving. As we're pulling up, like we can literally see everything that's like what's going on in their head. It's like we kind of pull up down the street and we see them looking. It's like, okay, there's a car that we don't recognize because we're in a rental. They're looking. It's like, okay, we don't recognize that car. So then we inch up a little closer and we see the guy like go to his car, kind of like reach in the car and then come across the street. So we're narrating the whole routine like, okay, now see, when he just went and got the strap because he don't recognize us. And like we're literally watching, scripting the whole thing play it out. And then he comes back. So then when we get there, like, oh, snap, right there. Oh, that's what's up. Yo, you real. Like, you talk to me. Like, yeah, wait, know who he was. I'm like, he was like, I know who he was. I went got time. Like, I know. I bet when you went to the car, that's what you don't do, right? Get the talk because you ain't recognize me. Like, girl. I'm like, yes, I'm there. I be knowing. Yeah. I know how we do. So that no, I had a shout out my boy Potty. Like, no, that was they showed me a really good time. They were great hosts. I would call them my fan.
We're gonna have to find the dopest hood taco spots or something over here when you come down. Yeah. Well, and I need
all that dirty taco.
Yeah.
I want to do is the Romans. I don't like going places and doing what I do. I want to see what y'all be about.
That's what it is right there.
It's on. Say less.
We'll make sure we'll put in the call, man. Don't worry, it's just us rolling down the street. Don't be reaching in your car.
We got the flashing light. We know how to do the headlights. We can pull up without getting a shotty pulled out. Speaking of Shotty, shout out to Big Shotty, the producer on that track, Where the Hood. It has a sample from DMX. It's pretty dope. It is a Seldom Seen and Mike Hunter D featuring Rah Digga, Where the Hood. We're going to get into that real quick, and then we'll say goodnight to you. B-side, y'all.
The industry, man, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent. It's about playing the game. The industry, real niggas is dying to get in. The industry, justifiably don't fit. The industry ain't what it used to be. Bring that beat back. Where the hood? 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 All the skid rows, all the number streets, all the dead bodies piling up in front of me. Welcome to the bricks. Might get jumped by some chicks, pulling out their phones for them world star hits. Got all my glam grimy, keep the blam by me. Got it in the bones, get it from my grandmommy. Bunch of white boys looking like Stand By Me. Bunch of black boys looking like Man Try Me. Bullets land where the shoe fitting. I heard who did it, I don't know how much truth in it. I'm on a low, keep a little hoop in it. Bar in the trunk, even got a booth in it. Yeah, overseas for months, chatting with world leaders, having tea at brunch. Then swerve, the crib and the bird for the pack. But then I'm gon' be in the trap. Where you at? Where the hood? 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 Yeah. Something. This coalition. Yeah. Look, I'm
Frank Lucas. I'm exclusive, the music blueprint, booth in the movement. Like Bumpy Johnson, the Black Charles Bronson, Kendrick to Compton, asleep in my conscience. Look, I'm like Swanson, in my bricks that flood the streets of Wisconsin. I move constant, I'm Action Bronson. Anyone would promise the game is nonsense. In a battle, I beat you, I kill you on features. You approve the student, you should honor your teacher. Like Lindsay Lohan, I'm high for the movement. Then I ball like Oldham and fuck 'em with a Trojan. Look, I'm hood with focus. Y'all pop mollies and cotton, but I'm bringing the own it. Then I swear to prayer for a bird in the pack. And then we gon' bees in the trap. Let 'em move when you back. Yeah. We here. Yeah. I live for the hustle, the quarter pound in the duffel. Dying over blocks to stimulate your muscle. My whole design is set up for failure. No bars left, niggas dying like cellular. I sway like Kanye, you ain't got the answer. Just level to this game, only one man left. Mario King Cooper, we fight to the death. Mushroom fireballs, black NES. 90 star overalls, black bubble vest. I scribble my life on paper like Etch-a-Sketch. Cyclist minstrel, bloody like Cortex. 100 deep brisket, escaping gun roof. Detroit, no better shows, my death is proof. Like Kurt Russell bitches, flying through the roof. Cat in the hat strap, the hood Dr. Seuss. Surgical white glove, choking nigga like loose. So cool.
We're back, man. The B-side. Yeah. Act like you know already every single Monday night, man. We're here with the livest artists doing their thing. And it's an honor for us to have Rah Digga on via Zoom. And we're going to see her all the way live April 10th.
Don't miss that show.
Yeah.
You got a taste of that right now. You got to meet Rah Digga, and you saw that dope ass video. She killed that, bodied that. That's one of my favorite songs. I was so surprised you made that track what it was. You really did. Yo.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, so getting back to it, hopefully 2021's a little more productive for everybody. But any plans on with the solo stuff? I mean,
New projects.
Any thing you're working on that we should know about?
Something you want to leak?
Oh yeah.
Well, I hate saying, oh yeah, I got such and such rapping on this time, because it never does. Like I just kind of,
right?
I just kind of go as the wind blows. But I am working on music. The long-awaited Flip Mode reunion album that we actually completed it about 2 years ago. Don't quote me, but